Chilling.
For those of you who don't know, I needed extra water today. I'm kind of dying.
Hydrating. All right. 3, 2, 1.
What is up, guys? We are here with Noah, my Mike and I podcast. It's me, Devaroux. I'm in this bitch.
Hey.
We're about to chop it up a little bit. We got
Yes.
Noah, obviously your host.
I love this, yo. I love this. First off, I want to say happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You finally turned 21.
Finally! Everyone can stop being like, hey, do you want to hang out? Oh, wait, you're not 21 yet.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So now you can go pretty much anywhere. Your experience as a 21-year-old, how's it different?
You know, it is so weird for me because I feel like because I'm so small and because people treat me like I'm a kid, like baby me because I'm small, it's actually uncomfortable for me to like go into places. I forget that I'm 21. I'll like walk in and then I'm like, oh shit, are they gonna card me? And then I'm like, wait, I'm good. Like,
Yeah.
here you go. Here's my card. Thank you.
The proof is in the pudding.
It's fun. The first thing I had to buy was some blunt wraps.
Nice.
I was like, let me just go in there and grab some.
Do you have a particular favorite flavor?
I'm not gonna lie to you. People are gonna hate me for this, but I like grape swishers.
Yeah.
You already know I'm all about the purple, and
Yes.
honestly, I don't really care about the flavor.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just I'm used to swishers. That's what I'm used to rolling with, so I'm just like, okay, that's what I use. But I'll smoke with Dutches. I'll roll up with whatever, you know.
Mm-hmm. And I think grape to me is like one of the better flavors of Swisher Sweets. Also blueberry, but I don't really see some of those
I saw
flavors.
blueberry. I was gonna get it, but I didn't. Have you tried this one? I've never tried this one. I picked it up today. I was like, fuck it. What is this? Okay.
Is this the original?
It's just the original.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
never mind. I just saw that and I was like, can I just get those, please?
And you know what's a trip is that a lot of places, I don't know if it was like a city by city thing or like a state by state thing, but certain cities in California, they stopped selling the flavored blunt wrap.
I did hear about that.
Yeah, and I believe Fullerton's one of those cities.
That makes me sad.
I went to like a few Fullerton liquor stores, and they're like, oh yeah, like, but this was back in December or around election season last year, and they were like, oh yeah, like, starting next year we're gonna stop selling these, and I was like, oh, like that's weird. But when I go to the ones where I live, or even in Santa Ana Garden Grove, they have them. So I think it's just city by city.
It just depends. I'm sure, like, even if you go to a smoke shop, I'm sure they'll have them. Like,
yeah,
we'll see.
We'll see. So I wanted to catch up a lot from last time that we had you on because so much has changed.
Oh my god.
Your hair has changed, your age has changed, just everything has changed about you. But overall, what would you say like is the biggest change from 2019 to 2021 now?
Well, first of all, I'm single.
Mm-hmm.
Thank goodness for that. Finding myself. The biggest change I would say is I think I'm just learning about myself more. I'm taking this year, I really want to take this year to zone in on, like, what are my toxic traits? What could I be better at? What can I do? Because I feel like I've done so much complaining ever since me and my ex broke up. And, like, you met him, all that shit. I feel like I've done so much complaining and, like, crying and, like, being torn down and feeling a certain type of way for so long that at this point, I'm like, I'm tired of complaining. Like, I'm tired of being that bitch. Like, to be honest, I'm tired of being, like, oh, great, here's Deb again. Like, here she's crying on her fucking story. Like, I hate that. Like, it is my way of venting, but at some point, I just had to be like, I'm tired of being like this. Like, I really need to zone in on myself and figure out what the fuck is wrong because I can't live like this. I'm an adult now. I need to get my shit together. And so just having friends that will point out, like, hey, I realize that you're doing this and I can tell it's a cycle and, why do you do that? Or like, hey, you shouldn't do this. Like, think about it like this. So just really tuning into myself and learning, Yeah.
And it's an adjustment too. I think you get so used to like that being your person and you have a routine set out with them, and it doesn't matter how long you spend in a relationship with that person or even talking to them as friends. But it's just like, it's a big adjustment to go back out of it because sometimes, at least from my experience too, like every relationship that I've been in, I get like too invested and I don't cut off all my friends, but it kind of feels like that, I'm sure. And
because
like,
you spend so much time with the other person, and like that's fine, it's cool to enjoy someone's presence, but what I'm learning also is like you have to have your own life, you have to have your own things, otherwise you're gonna be putting so much pressure on this person to like can like give me attention, like hey, talk to me, hey, like but it's like if you're busy and they're busy, then you're good, you guys meet up when you can, just do your thing.
And we were talking about before we recorded about doing things by yourself. That's important too. A few years ago, before I had met my ex as well,
Mm-hmm.
I went on a trip to San Diego by myself. And this summer, I kind of was like, I should do something similar like that again because, if I'm always like waiting on a friend to do so, but
Mm-hmm.
our schedules may not align, or they can't get the time off, or they're not interested. 'Cause that's the biggest thing too. Is like when I go places, like I want to sightsee. I want to maybe
Mm-hmm.
do a hike over there or whatever, like in that area. And not everyone has that like kind of same
Yeah.
want. So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you accommodate. You meet in the middle, like they do one of yours, I do one of theirs. But it's also kind of like frustrating. So I definitely want to try to do something like a trip.
Yeah,
by
like
myself.
a trip on your own. That'd be dope. I don't think I'm there yet, but one day, eventually, I'm sure I'll be there.
Yeah,
I think that's a good thing for sure. My mom is actually the one who like really taught me. Like I told you earlier, like really told me after I got out of my relationship. I was going through so much, and she was like, you know what? I think you just need to learn to do things by yourself and be comfortable by yourself and love yourself because as long as you got yourself, somebody bringing something, it's just gonna add.
Yeah.
Like you really shouldn't be finding someone to like fix you. You just gotta find someone that's gonna add to your happiness while you fix yourself and who's gonna treat you well.
Yeah.
So, shouts out to my mom.
Yeah, that's super dope. Parents dropping that wisdom. Why do you think this? And there's no right or wrong answer, but why do you think that we need to be fixed by someone else? Because I've also felt like that.
I don't feel like we need to be fixed by someone else. I think in the past I did because it's like mostly because I didn't understand how to deal with the emotions that I had and like what I'd seen my whole life is just my mom and her relationships which weren't the healthiest at all. So I always thought like my mom has issues too. I have mental illnesses as well, and I would just think like I just want somebody who's gonna help me and who's gonna like understand me and all this. And maybe that's true, maybe you can find someone like that, but I think I'm just starting to learn that I don't really want someone to fix me. I just want someone to like add to my happiness and understand what I'm going through and just grow with me.
Right.
And I'm willing to put in the work and like try to help whoever I'm with grow and put in the energy. I feel like I have so much love to give and I want to give so much love, but sometimes I have to hold back.
Yeah, makes sense. I feel like very similarly, like pre-2019, I was always kind of waiting for like the right one, quote unquote, to kind of save me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I don't know, I find that problematic. Like I would,
it definitely is.
If I was, my parent, or just if in the future I have kids, like I don't want them to grow up thinking like that. And I don't think we're the only people who think that. I think it's a very common thing. So it's kind of a trip. I wish as a child we were taught more to love ourselves and respect ourselves. And you can't pinpoint like whether it's like the parent, the schools. I'm sure it's like accumulation of everybody, but yeah, there's definitely like I feel like in our generation we kind of lack that sometimes.
I'm very blessed right now because I feel like our generation is kind of like the first to really point out like mental illness and stuff like that, because when it comes to like my grandparents, they're very like what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
Depression? Like just get over it. Like just get the fuck up. And I'm just over here like, bro, I am trying. Like you don't get it. I'm losing it right now. Like
yeah.
But I think it's really cool because now I can talk about things freely and like pinpoint certain things and understand like, oh, maybe this is because something like this happened when I was younger or whatever else, So I really like that we're so aware and that I feel like we're so open-minded too. It's just everyone has their way of living and not everyone is okay with everything, but like a lot of people are very understanding, which I really like. I like being understood and I like meeting new people who live different types of lives and just all come together and just learn. I think that's the most amazing thing ever recently, especially with my team. Like it's amazing.
Yeah, being like a one-on-one is so special, like you're not trying to copycat or anybody and you're just your own person. Now you mentioned your team. That's also something that's changed since the last time I spoke with you.
Yes, I have a team now.
How did you come to meet them?
So, in January, actually.
2021?
Or was it last year? I think it was like December of last year. Okay, so December of last year, I was living in 29 Palms with my mom and my family, and I was just so unhappy there. I didn't know anybody, it just wasn't my scene, it's just too quiet.
Yeah.
So, Steven and Pretty Papes had gotten a hold of me, and they're kind of like, hey, so we have this song, we want you to be on it, like, we like your vocals. is there any way we could get you to do that?
Mhm.
And I was just kind of like, I'm a little bit far right now. Like, I explained to them the whole situation. I was like, I'm not happy here. Like, I want to be making music. I want to be with my friends, you know? And they were just kind of like, you know what, like, let us know whenever you come out here so we can record. So I ended up going out there like 2 weeks later. And Steven, my manager, had invited me, and he was like, hey, let's have a meeting. So I just went through, and we just kind of got like comfortable with each other. We met each other, and he kind of asked me, what are you looking for in music? Like, what are your goals? What can you help? What do you need help with? What can you help us with? Type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And ever since then, like, I've just felt very part of the family.
That's
I felt
cool.
very loved, very accepted. I love Oh That's Filthy. They're all amazing.
Okay. Is that the group's name?
That
Oh,
is.
That's Filthy?
OTF. Oh That's Filthy.
Hey, okay.
You know, we got Pretty Papes, we got Steven, we got Daniel James.
Mm-hmm.
Sheesh, we have a lot of people. We got Noah.
Noah James, right?
Noah James,
I've
we
seen him
got
around.
Pretty Papes, we got, there's so many, Zay.
That's super dope.
It's a good team.
I'm glad
very
to see
proud.
that.
I'm so proud.
I know you're a big Odd Feature fan too, so it's kind of cool to see. I'm not saying you guys are exactly the same, but
it's kind of a similar dynamic.
Yeah,
we have a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think that's the beauty of like the collective mindset. I mean, it's very rare to find that many people with similar goals or just like a similar vibe, but when you do, it's so much more fun. Yeah.
It's a machine, and it's so much more fun because I feel like I'm having the time of my life right now just because I'm with a team.
Yeah.
Like, that's what makes this all fun. I've never been part of a team that's so, like, they'll talk, like, we talk about our feelings. Like, they really do invest in their artists. It's not just like, here, let's do this shit and like put out music. It's very, hey, how are you doing? You know, everyone meets up and we're all just like super close. We all smoke. We'll just be smoking blunts the whole night, dancing, throwing on music. It's just, it's the best. I'm having the time of my life right now, honestly.
That's dope. All right. So you mentioned too the song they recorded with Pretty Papes, Paradise.
Oh yes, Paradise.
The visuals for that too. How much fun is it to record a song like that, but also with like that, like you said, that collective of artists and everything?
You know, that was the first time me and Papes had like, well, we'd met before. I met him like maybe a year and a half prior, a few times. But this was the first time that we actually met up and like kind of felt each other's energy and like created something. So it was a lot of fun because Paradise was a completely different song when I first heard it. Like with just Papes' part, it was a completely different feel. It was not that genre at all. And then like I kind of got on there and I was like, you know what? I think some harmonies would sound good here. You know, I want to try this out. And he was like, you know what? I really like how you sing the hook. So instead of me singing the hook in the forefront, I want you to be the main vocal. And we just built from there, and it was dope just seeing everyone's reactions, like seeing Steven watch me do what I'm good at and what I love doing, and like just seeing how impressed that they were and like how happy they were with the song. That is, I think recording is my favorite part of being an artist, honestly. Like the sessions and just talking to people and meeting people, you know? Yeah.
I thought that was like, from his previous music, that last album, Romance Mike, was just like a totally different vibe, but it like...
so good.
It hit something different, you know?
It did, yeah.
Like, it was like,
really
what?
did that.
Yeah.
And his singing voice and all of that. He did a great job. Shout out to Papes.
Yeah.
I love him. That's like my
Papes.
big brother, honestly.
That's super cool to see. I've also noticed too, like just, when you look at your discography on Spotify, you've also done a lot of other features. Was that like a goal for you this, over the past year to kind of be on more artists' tracks and get more notoriety?
You know what? I think that's the opposite of what my goal was, because I've done so many features. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. I'm going to keep it 100, my mic and I.
Hey.
But I'm not going to lie to you. A lot of times when I do features, I don't really like the song or like it's not something that I would listen to on my own time. It's just more of like, hey, like I appreciate this person's energy. I really fuck with them. So, what can I give them? What can I give to them? How can we vibe? How can we have fun,
Yeah.
And then I just kind of go in there and I'll help them, and it's just it's a fun experience. But I think this year what I want to focus on is me, more me. I have not done a feature. Like, I've not had someone feature on any of my songs yet. So that hasn't happened. I would love to get Medusa Spitz on that.
Oh, okay.
Shit. I love her. She's my favorite Orange County female artist.
Okay.
Not hands down.
All right.
Medusa. So yeah, I'm trying to do solo music. I'm on an artist plan right now. In 2 years, I'll be dropping a project if everything goes to plan,
Nice. Okay.
Right now, I'm just pumping out singles.
Okay.
Like, I just put out Not the Wifey Type
Yep.
on my birthday.
Yeah.
I am not the wifey type, but wish I had that wifey. I love that song because it's so fun.
Yeah. What was the inspiration behind that song?
funny story, and like I said, I'm gonna keep it real, y'all, because I'm with my mic and I right now.
Hey.
I was talking to somebody, and he pissed me off. He made me mad, and I was like getting in my feelings, you know, and I was like, what the fuck, I'm a bad bitch, like, do you see what I'm doing? Why am I tripping? Like, why am I, you know, like, kind of trying to calm myself down. So I got in the studio with Ochoa, the homie. He produced it and he engineered it. He's amazing. He's actually doing a lot right now. I got in the studio with him. He like kind of was making this beat, you know, and I was like, yeah, I think I want something more upbeat. I want to do something more fun. And I just started like kind of going off. I was like, what do I write to this? And then I just like started thinking about how annoyed I was, and I was like, I'm just gonna fucking flex on this song. Spending them racks that you can't even smell. Yeah, like I just went off. It was fun, and this has to be my favorite release so far.
Okay.
Up in Smoke was second favorite, but this one because I'm not used to having music that I can dance to and like that I can like have fun to, and it's so nice to have that rather than like I'm crying because I'm making R&B music. Yeah,
this is like a little like I don't want to say sassy, but like for lack of a better word, like that sassiness to it.
Definitely.
You know, you can hear it.
I'm trying to do more like that. I think everything that I'm working on right now is pretty confident, like bad bitch music. Yeah. To be honest with you, bad bitch music.
Yeah, that's tight. So. And I know from the last time that we had you on my mic and I, you're in a different mindset, right? And I know you kind of always, I remember I had asked you a question about like the Megan Thee Stallions, the Cardi B's, and you're like, you know, I really admire them from a distance, and you wish you could be, not like them, but kind of just have that confidence like them. Yeah. And now I'm kind of seeing it grow, and like that's so cool. Like, so props to you, you know.
Thank you. That actually made me so happy right now. Thank you so much. Yeah. I think the last time you saw me, I was just not in a good place. I think I was just like comfortable with my relationship, and it just made me kind of not strive for what I needed to strive for, because I was so invested in this person. I was so in love that I was like, let me help you. What can I do for you? Like, what can I... And it was just all him all the time. And I realize now, I'm like, I can't let anybody get in the way of me and my music. Yeah. Because there are two things that I care about in life. There are only, really, to be honest with you, only two things that I care about in life. And that is music and love. That's it. That's it. So, like, it's either love or music. Yeah. And at that time, it was love. Yeah. But now I'm realizing I need to love myself. And I deserve the chance to get what I'm good at, you know? Like, I love making music. I know I'm good at it. I have the heart for it, and it's like, it gives me a purpose. So I would never want to sacrifice that for someone. And I do know now, like, if I am with someone, they're going to be the ones supporting me, and they're going to be like, yeah, you want to go to the studio right now? Hell yeah, let's go to the studio. They're not going to fight with me so that I don't go to the studio on purpose, you know? Like, so I'm just learning. I'll buy you the Uber, you know? Yeah, exactly. There you go. Yeah. Or even better, like, I'll come with you. Yeah. I'll be your hype man. Or hype woman. Whatever. Love that. That's tight. Hell yeah, it's good to hear the growth. Thank you. So I also wanted to ask you, too, because I've noticed, you know, social media presence, I feel like the way you use it is very interactive. And you don't use it too much, but you also use it, like, just enough to, like, so your fans can kind of understand, like, what you're doing, what you're working on, what you got coming up next. Yep. Did you kind of pick that up from somebody else, or was that just like you kind of turned a new leaf with it on your own? Yes, you know what, Steven, shout out to Steven, Oh That's Filthy, has taught me so much in the short amount of time we worked together. He has completely changed how I present myself, how I am on social media, how to interact better. I've learned a lot of skills through him, and I'm still learning. So yeah, he definitely had a big part in that, of like, him, and also my friend, her name on Instagram is She's Kinda Curious. Her name is Jess. So her, definitely too. She's taught me, like, I used to put like a bunch of pictures in one post, and then she would be like, why don't you put one picture, so then they're kind of like, what is she doing? Like, what is this? What is this? And then you put another one, and then you're like giving them more information. So I picked up a lot of tips. Okay. Hell yeah. That's dope. It's good to know, because Instagram's such a growing platform, and not even just Instagram, but social media in general. Everything, yeah. And people, you know, we were mentioning Pretty Papes, like, he's had a lot of music kind of blow up over social media, you know, TikTok, and songs will just like that, and with no intent. And it was an older song too. It wasn't like anything he just put out. It was just like that happened to be that beat that someone liked, and they threw it on a bunch of different stuff. It's all marketing. Yeah. Like, honestly, marketing. I never knew. Ever since I started working with this team, I realized what I was doing before was not shit. Like, don't get me wrong, I got pretty far on my own in the past 3 years, but, like, I'm like, there's actually levels to this shit. Like,
Yeah.
I had no idea any of this stuff that I'm doing now was like part of it. Like, it's kind of overwhelming,
Yeah.
but you gotta learn, you know?
Yeah.
You have to be ahead of the curve. You have to make sure you have your ducks in a row, and you just gotta get shit done.
Okay. There you go.
It's a little overwhelming, but I'm doing the best I can.
Yeah, I feel that. So you mentioned earlier too, you moved to Orange County.
Mm-hmm.
How has the move, I guess you say, either benefited you or, yeah, I guess how's it benefited you, and not just in your music process, but outside too?
It has definitely benefited me because I'm happy where I'm at. Orange County, I've lived in so many places, but Orange County is where I always come back to. It's my whole entire life because I feel like there's so much life here. There's so much going on here that I love it. I love being around people. I love watching people do their thing. I like watching people grow. And personally, it's helped me a lot because I live with my friend Obi and his sister, and they're just very big parts of my life right now. They're very good at picking out toxic habits that I have or cycles that I'm doing, and you know, they'll sit me down sometimes and be like, hey, like, you're making me a little bit worried because I've realized that you've been doing this, and like, I know you don't want to fall into the same cycles. I want you to do better. Like, what can we do to help you?
Yeah.
When I'm depressed, you know, I'll talk to her and she'll come cuddle with me and she'll be like, hey, like, it's okay, like she'll just talk me through it. And to me, that's big because I've been given tough love my whole life.
Yeah.
But I'm so loving and affectionate, and like, that's the kind of love that I like to receive.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I find so many people who just give tough love. Like Steven, tough fucking love. Like, I'll be like, bro, just tell me I'm doing a good job. I just want your reassurance.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I gotta be hard on you. Like, this is how we're gonna get to the top. Like, we all have to eat, and like, I have to make you guys strong.
Yeah.
This shit's not for the weak, and he's right, it's not. So I'm very happy with the place I'm at right now. I'm very happy with the people that are in my life right now, and I feel very blessed.
That's awesome.
And I'm really glad to be back here, honestly. Yeah. I really like coming here.
Alright, awesome, yeah. And I know you talked about earlier too, just like our generation, just more open to like mental health and kind of just looking out for one another. And I think that's super important, you know, because sometimes we think like it's just one person who makes it, but usually there's like a team of people behind them.
It's all about the team. All about the team.
The support system, you know, the circle, if you will. So that's great to hear that.
Thank you.
That you're in a better space and everything. What else do you have planned for this year musically?
So this year, what I'm working on is being consistent with drops. I think in the past, I would drop a song every 6 months, and it wasn't very consistent, and there wasn't a lot of marketing behind it. But now I'm working on just being consistent, maybe drop one thing every month at least, if I can do that. Just kind of learning how to do the marketing and stuff like that. Okay.
Awesome. So it's been almost a little bit over a year since, you know, COVID first kind of affected our lives and kind of shut a lot of stuff down. How has that changed, not even just like your music or creative process, but just how has that changed you as a person?
It's made me socially awkward. I know I'm not the only one, but like before I used to be the life of the party. Like I would just be dancing, like fuck, I would be having so much fun. And now I go out into spaces with a lot of people, and I'm just the type that like wants to sit back and just like, I don't really want to talk to people. I just want to be chilling, you know? So I think it's made me socially awkward. Sometimes I'm not good at connecting with people as well as I used to be, and I feel like that's one of my strengths, is connecting to people and feeling how they feel and feeling their energy. But, you know, I think I'm going to get back. I feel like the more that we open up and people start going out more, we're just going to get more comfortable. This is just part of the process of going back into it, you know? Yeah. It's going to be some growing pains. I heard Disneyland and Knott's Berry Farm just opened. Yes. Yesterday. Wait, for everybody or just for the cast members? I heard it was the cast members. I think, well, maybe it is just the cast members. I don't know, but I know there was like Harbor Boulevard had more traffic on it. So I know they're letting people in the park. I'm not sure who's allowed to get in or whatnot, but that's fun. I love Disneyland.
Yeah.
What's your favorite place there?
I haven't been since the last time I went to Disneyland was before they put in Guardians of the Galaxy. So I still remember Tower of Terror, was it? Yeah.
That kind of makes me sad. Like, you need to go to Disneyland right now. Guardians of the Galaxy, that's a fun ride. Yeah, but I mean, Tower of the Terror was kind of like the same thing, right? No, I think this is better. Okay. No, they did a lot. Okay. You need to. All right. You need to go. We're gonna have a Disneyland day. I'll take your word for it. I think Cars Land though, just like seeing I love Cars Land. The art that goes into that, like that's so cool because like it looks exactly like the damn movie, and you're just like, fuck, that's pretty good, you know? Aren't they making a Star Wars Land, or did they already do that?
I think it was it's either being done or it's already
I
done.
think it's already done.
Might be.
I want to see that. That'd be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Stars Land.
Yeah.
I mean, Star Wars Land.
Star Wars.
The next goal is gonna be Space Queen Devaroux Land.
Hey, that'd be tight.
Imagine.
Yeah.
Just stars everywhere, like you're going down slides. There's weed stands everywhere.
Hey, just selling little joints and everything.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Shit, I'd do that.
Little theme parks. I think that could potentially be like a futuristic thing that happens in the next 10 years. Like not even so much like surrounded by you, but just like
tell someone about
like
this.
a weed themed amusement park.
I mean, people kind of already do that. Like low-key, when me, my dad, and my stepmom would go to Six Flags, like we would just take a rig and take a bunch of dabs before we went in, and then we just go on all the rides high and just like, so I think they should actually make an amusement park with weed and alcohol.
Yeah.
Well, maybe.
They can. There's like that THC infused stuff, and I recently like got like a lemonade from one of those places, a dispensary. And pretty good, like really dope.
Did it hit you or no?
Yeah, like it was like a big, I don't know how many liters it was, but it was like a decent sized bottle, and like it marked off how many. So I guess it was like 150 milligrams in total, and each little like, basically like one gulp was like 5 milligrams, and so they marked it off, so you can kind of keep track of how much you had.
That's smart.
And it did, there was nights where I just had like, I was really tired at the end of the night and just had one gulp, and it was like 5 milligrams, and it hit. And then there was other times where like I took a few. And it like, I felt it like a lot more,
So do you smoke a lot or no?
No, I would say it's pretty like once a week, twice a week-ish.
Okay.
That range.
I don't know why I didn't think you smoked.
Mm-hmm.
Well, fuck me, alright? I'm kidding.
No,
it's because when I take, like, when it comes to edibles or like ingesting, it doesn't hit me. Like I need to take a lot, like 500 milligrams. Not gonna do, because I went to the podcast with Mad Boy and all of them, and we were smoking just blunt after blunt, joint after joint. They had like different edibles, all of them were like 500, and they wanted us to try each one.
Dang, okay.
So I was just taking them, and I was like, I'm faded like from the weed, but the edibles, like it's not hitting.
Yeah.
So
I feel like edibles, I mean, obviously it depends on people's tolerance level, but edibles are super inconsistent too. I remember like there were certain edibles that like I would eat it or take it and it would hit like within the hour, but then there was other times where like I didn't feel anything for 4 or 5 hours, and when you're in that mode, you're just like, oh, let me take some more, and then like in the 6th hour it was like whoosh, you're like, whoa,
that hasn't
like
happened to me. That makes me even, but it's the same with like anything you have to ingest, even like shrooms. I'll take them and I'll take an eighth, and I'm just talkative. Like I don't see anything. I don't really. Obviously, I feel a little bit, but it's not to the extent that people make it seem. Like people are like, "Oh my god, I was tripping," and I'm like, "Bro, do I need more, or what is going on here?"
I think certain people have different experiences. Like I said, it's all dependent on tolerance level.
Definitely.
I'll smoke, like if I smoke a blunt with a friend, so it's like 2 people sharing a blunt, like that'll get me like pretty on a good one. You know what I'm saying? Like and like you said, I kind of get more talkative, and my thoughts feel like they're clear and. I don't know, I just feel, not to say like in a better version of myself, but almost feels like that,
Yeah, it helps loosen you up,
Yeah, that's the right word for it. You know what I mean?
Got Stoner Noah here.
I guess I just don't like putting it out there, and people are always surprised that I don't, because I don't put it out there because I do work with, like...
Oh, yes, I forgot about that.
Yeah, and so,
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay, like I said, I just don't put it out there like that, to that extent, so they don't see it,
Meanwhile, I'm over here like twice a day on my story, like, yeah, blood.
But I don't think, and I don't think weed is bad. Like, it shouldn't be treated like that. I shouldn't have to do it, but I understand that the system is still set up to where it's like, oh, and especially like the people who are in control, the principals, assistant principals, if they ever caught wind of that stuff, it's a bad look, because it's still like to them old school thinking, we can have these kids on it. And
100%.
it's like, bad,
How old are the kids that you coach for?
High school. So 15,
half of them are probably potheads already.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
I'm pretty sure, it's really funny. Like, sometimes I catch a kid.
Oh god.
There's been a very few times where like I catch a kid and they're like, they're obviously fake. And
what do
like
do?
being in there, I don't know. I try not to bring it up, because I can tell, like, at least from my experiences, well, I think it's only been like 3 or 4 times, but like almost all of them, the kid was kind of like, you could tell they were a little paranoid or a little anxious to be around me. And I try not to bring it up at all, and just like relax, be like my normal self, so I don't make attention to it, because that would help relax them. But it's just, I don't know, like inside though, I want to laugh. Like, it's like, oh, like you're like,
oh, you're faded.
Like you're faded. Like that's cool. Like
Cute.
look at you.
The good old days. I remember back then.
Yeah, and so, I think the biggest thing is like if I do get to talk to them about, you're not really supposed to talk to them about that, but I just remind them to make smart decisions. I think it's very vague, and it doesn't have to be when they're like, maybe I overhear something and I'm like, oh, like, make smart decisions.
Yeah.
Because we're all young and dumb at one point of our lives. And,
in our whole lives. Yeah. We can all be dumb. I'm dumb all the time. Shit.
But so I just trying to give some sort of like advice or guidance, because some of these kids, like, they're either reckless or they just don't know any better, and they'll bring it to inappropriate places or try it at inappropriate places and times, and it's like...
I feel that, low-key.
What are you thinking there?
I've done some stupid shit in high school, like with weed. One time... Okay, so I was a good girl in high school. Everyone was like, oh, like, you're good, you don't do anything. Well, I was getting into smoking, and my friend sold edibles. Didn't really know much about weed. It was like, whatever. So I bought one, and I took it in PE, which was my first period, and it didn't hit me. I was like, damn, this shit didn't even hit me. All right, we're going to our next class. It's English, I believe. And we had to do speeches. We had to remember a president's speech. I had an Obama speech. We had to go up there and recite it in front of everybody. Dang. So I'm just chilling, I'm like watching these people go up. I'm like, all right, I'm next. Like, I remember my shit. I'm excited. 2 people before I'm supposed to go up, it hits like a fucking bus. I'm like sitting there, and instantly I'm like, everyone's staring at me. Everyone's looking at me. They know I'm high. Yeah. I go up to the podium and I just stand there, and I'm like looking down, because in my head I'm like, they're all staring at me. They know I'm high. I know they're talking about me. I know they're laughing at me. And I'm just silent. I'm like, they said... And then she's like, Mackenzie, are you gonna... And I'm like, I'm just standing there silent, and she's like, you know what? You could just take a seat, and we could redo it some other day.
That's cool.
I was like, thanks, dude, thanks. I was tripping. And then for the rest of the day, like, all my teachers could tell. They were just... Everyone loved me. I was really cool with all the teachers. All the teachers loved me. So they kind of let it slide. But, like, they would make comments. Like, my teacher, Fresquez, was just like, I'm disappointed in you. And I was like, what? Why? He's like, you know what you did? And I was like, but I'm hungry, though. And he's like, here's an apple. Just go eat it outside. So I'm just in the hallway just, like, laughing my ass off eating an apple. And my friends are just staring through the window at me like, this bitch. Are you serious? Good times, though.
Yeah. But it's so tough, because I think in a perfect... Not even a perfect, but in my ideal scenario... I think, like, school is, like, to be around those kind of adults and to have adults that don't necessarily, like, shame you. And I don't want to say, like, let it slide either, because, like, they did talk to you about it and give you, like, pointers or advice in a very, like, passive-aggressive way, I guess you could say. But, that's a safer environment than, like, them trying it, like, in the streets, quote-unquote.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's very true.
And so I just think, that's where it's, like, it's hard, because... Especially working in that industry, they're like, everyone's like, when you go through the trainings and stuff in the beginning, it's like, no. But at the end of the day, it's like, well, but like you could give them smart advice. You can teach them to use it wiser, if that makes sense, and understand it more. Because I remember, like, as a teenager too, like, I didn't understand anything about it. And I was, every time I did smoke at that time, I didn't start smoking until second semester of my senior year, so it was really late. But I remember feeling like paranoid and anxious every time, because my parents always told me it was bad, and I rember, like, they would always bring drug dogs to school, so I never wanted to be like, one of those kids that got sniffed out or something, or, there was such a negative connotation around it, and so every time you would smoke, you were super fearful, and I feel like
that was me,
like, highs weren't even good then, because it was just like,
you're just like,
smoke,
are they gonna,
yeah, it's like, who's gonna be after me, what I mean? And so, I remember, like, one of the first few times smoking, like, we'd go to, like, this riverbed over up in, like, Orange, and you'd have to, like, cross the railroad tracks to get in there, so it's pretty secure. But I remember we would smoke, and, like, the police sirens would go off, like, in the distance. I'd be like, guys, like, I think we gotta go, like, and they're like, dude, fucking relax. I was like, shit, all right.
That was you, dude. Yeah. That was me, too. I was the fucking, like, you guys, I think we're gonna get in trouble. I don't want to get in trouble. Like... That was me.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Good times though.
Yeah, it is good times. You gotta learn on the fly sometimes, but I definitely wish there was more acceptance of it so we could,
I think we're getting there.
Yeah.
We're definitely getting there,
Mhm.
and I love that. I love that people are more open now.
Mhm.
Before, like, my mom would be like, no weed. But
Mhm.
after I would come back from OC, back when I was living with my mom, she would always smell the weed, and she'd be like, you smell like weed. Like, you can't be coming in here like that. And then eventually she's like, you know what? You can smoke weed, but just, like, don't bring it to the house.
Yeah.
And, like, you're good. So she kind of, like...
Yeah.
I mean, the other day, she's been eyeing my stories recently because I've been smoking, and she'll be like, I don't appreciate that you're putting that out there for people to see. And I'm like, sorry. Next day, smokes another French inhale. I'm like, it's okay, Mom. Just let me do my thing.
Yeah, I know my mom kind of had a similar change of heart because, the opioid crisis and how people get addicted to pills, and it's, just one side effect after another. I mean, you're taking so many pills to affect so many things.
Thing. Yeah, I know a few people, and, like, I'm just like, shit.
Right, and so I remember, like, just randomly she brought up the other day, she's like, oh, like, if I ever get so old to where I need to, take, like, opioid or, like, pills for this kind of pain or whatever, I'm going to look into, like, weed. And I was just like, what? Like, I was like dumbfounded. That. I was like, yo, like, that's good, because there's a lot of medical uses for it. There's a lot of, like, and CBD is kind of like that, that perfect, I think, like ease into it, like society's easing into CBD, and it's like, like people at the school, like the teachers at least, they'll talk about like using CBD to help them sleep or for joint pain and stuff like that. I'm just like, oh wow, like if you guys are eventually catching on, like it's eventually going to be more accepted for even like THC creams and stuff 100%. Like that too. So that'll be fun. It'll be a fun world to live in, I think.
We're almost there. I feel it. I think that shit. I mean, so many people that I know now are like very accepting of weed, and I think I'm just lucky because my dad's always been very accepting of weed. In the beginning, when I was like getting to know my dad a little bit more, because I didn't always know him, it was like kind of weird. Like I didn't smoke. I didn't even know they smoked. Yeah. And then like a year in, like we're just at the drive-in, and he just pulls out a big ass rig, and I'm tripping. Like I'm sitting there like, oh my god, am I gonna get in trouble? Do they know that I smoke? Are they gonna yell at me? And he's like, hey, you wanna take a dab? And I'm like, is this a joke? Like, am I gonna get in trouble right now? He's like, no, you're chill. Just take a dab. And I'm like, fuck, okay. So yeah.
If you say yes, I'm gonna make fun of you.
If you say yes, you're in trouble. If you say no, you're taking a dab. Yeah. Anyway, that's my dad for sure.
Dab or dab.
Dad or dab.
Oh, nice. Dab with dads. That sounds like a podcast.
Dabs with dads.
Oh, that could be a vlog.
Let's find some dads.
Pause.
I'm dead.
Oh man! All right.
I should have a podcast where I smoke with people.
That'd be cool. I think podcasts are like, it's so very similarly to like how weed has opened up eyes to things. Like podcasts in a similar way, because back then it was like only radio. And to be on radio, you had to know somebody, and it was like very limited. Yeah,
and you're also and you have to talk about certain things. Like, you can't really branch out and do a lot of things. Yeah, I like that.
Very controlled. So now this is like super uncontrolled radio. Anyone can start it, with like very simple tools, and I don't know. It's cool. There's a bunch of different niches. Am I saying that right? Niches in podcasting. So.
And you talk about a lot of things. Like, you'll talk about sports. You'll talk about like just a bunch of stuff. And I'm actually sitting there, and I'm like, this is pretty interesting.
Thanks. I try. Like I'm a pretty diverse person as far as like interests. So just trying to reflect that onto the podcast. Because I think other people are like that too. Very few do you meet like someone who's like only sports or like only shoes or like only about their cars.
That's very. I mean, unless the podcast is literally only for that. Yeah. But how often you upload once a week, right? Yeah. I'm trying to figure, because I would love to do like podcasts, but the thing is, I don't really want to like schedule consistently. It's just like when I want to talk about something, maybe I'll just do lives. Maybe I'll stick to lives.
Yeah, like lives to kind of start off, and I even think like you could record the live or save the file and then upload it later, kind of deal. Look into, what is that new app called? Not the Classroom.
I know what you're talking about. Fuck. Literally, I have the notification on my phone right
I know,
here.
it's
It is called Clubhouse.
Clubhouse.
There
There
we
it
go.
is.
I was like, what is
Clubhouse.
it?
I know. I think Clubhouse has that feature now too, where you can like host a room, and then if you're hosting that room or
You
co-host,
yeah.
you can draw the file later and put it on like a podcast.
That's dope, actually.
Mhm.
I haven't really explored Clubhouse, but my friend Crayo C, he's always on. I'm always getting notifications of him on Clubhouse.
Yeah.
And like, just not in like funny chat rooms, like where they just all talk shit and like just laugh, and I'm just like, okay, I'll check it out sometime. I just haven't had the time. You know?
Yeah, and there's a lot to sort through. I remember my friend, he first invited me, I want to say like 2 months ago or 3 months ago, when it was still relatively new, and like it was mainly like people of like the music industry.
Yeah.
And then now it's kind of like merged into like everything, because a lot more people have gotten invitations and stuff, but it's a lot to sort through, because there's like you said, there's the comedy people one. I don't know if you're familiar with Zamir from Orange Collective, but I had him on the show.
Yes.
And he's always, he's really about like spirituality, and he's a coach for that.
He's dope.
And he has like, I'll get notifications when he starts his sessions, but I don't know, they're just always at like, they're like noon, and it's like, oh, I'm at work, or like there are weird times, and because it's audio, like you have to like,
really, you have to tune in,
Yeah, exactly. You can't just like, read it later or kind of deal. So it's a little tough to like make the time to do it, but I like the concept of it, because
me too.
I've had friends that like have connected with like managers to certain artists or other people that they wouldn't have gone if Clubhouse wasn't a thing.
Yeah, you gain so much knowledge, and I've been in, actually I did one Clubhouse meeting, and it was a bunch of females in the music industry, and they were all managing female artists.
Ooh.
So female managers, or just managers in general, and they were talking about how can we be better managers to female artists? Like, how do you have any tips, because it could be hard managing a female artist, and Steven is managing me, so he's kind of trying to learn too. So he's like, can you please join this? Like, I'm a little busy right now, but join it, take notes, let me know what they say, blah, blah, blah. So I thought that was really cool. I really like that people go on there sometimes and spread knowledge. Yeah. Because I would have not known any of that shit if I hadn't joined them. I'm like, wow, okay, I'm glad I was there.
And I think that's like more of what schools should be like, like a Clubhouse or like a
interactive.
Yeah,
like this whole curriculum, like you're forcing them to learn it a certain way, and not all people learn that way. And I
super
do find
vanilla
that,
too,
Yeah, it's like, come on.
Yeah.
Let's do some fun shit.
Yeah.
Color or something.
Yeah.
Ask me about my feelings. Or just, I don't know.
Teach kids about like intuition and trusting their instincts.
And also teach them about money management. Yeah. Like, why are we not learning any of that any of that shit in school? Like, I didn't learn.
They don't want us to know that shit.
They don't want to see us win.
I'm convinced like the school system.
I'm gonna fuck them up.
I'm convinced the school systems have stayed this way for so long, because it's like, most people I'm sure who call the shots at the like state level are all like 70 plus, so they're just like, oh yeah, we're gonna fuck these kids. But I feel like, I have a feeling like, and this kind of sounds shitty to say, but like when they die and like most of the people die off, and we get like not even our generation, but just like people like under 50, 55 that are open minded, then things will like kind of change.
Definitely change.
Yeah, so that is promising going forward. But it's a shame, I learned better from like things like Clubhouse or TED Talks or other shit, and like just kind of like colleges. I don't,
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan.
Yeah.
You went to Fullerton too, right? Didn't you?
Yeah,
we both went to Fullerton.
Yeah.
I only went there for 2 years, and I was like, I'm out. I didn't even get a degree. I was like, music.
And I was weird too. I went after my degree.
Really?
I wanted to get some certificates, and it just didn't end up working. I did the thing too where I tried to jump right away and was like, oh yeah, like full class load, like what is it, 12 units or whatever.
Oh yes.
And that was tough, because I was already working, and I was like, fuck, like this is tough. So I think if I do, because I do want to go back and take some psychology classes, learn more about
I love psychology.
If there is other classes and shit like that, just maybe like 1 or 2 classes a semester. That way I'm not overwhelming myself.
Yeah, it's easy to get overwhelmed, honestly. But did you play sports? Did you play football?
I played football at Golden West. Yeah, for 1 year, 1 season.
You liked it, didn't you? You love sports. I feel like you're a very active person.
Yeah, super
active. Every time
I
see you, you're like hiking or like doing something.
I just love fucking moving. Even when I smoke or something, like, or even like drink occasionally, like I'm a mover. Like I just feel.
So you don't like sitting too long.
I don't.
You like to be up
funny.
And
Yeah. So I like to be up and moving around. So I don't know. That's why I like the office jobs too. Like never really appealed to me, because
You just sit there all day. Type.
Mhm.
I hate that. I don't like that either.
Mm-mm.
I just don't like jobs in general. I mean, to be honest, who likes working? I mean, personally, I haven't found a job. I found a few, but just like the idea of going somewhere pretty much every single day for a certain amount of hours and doing the same thing,
Mhm.
to me, it's just like my brain.
Yeah,
I'm like, I need to get out of here. I need to do something new. And then,
it sucks. Yeah, and a lot of times you feel trapped depending on your financial situation. You know, and there's, you know, I remember at least when I was living with my parents, it was a lot easier for me to just be like, oh, I don't like this job. Like deuces. You know, I could just go to another job. But now it's like, now that I have a little bit more responsibility, and I'm sure there's a lot more people who have more responsibility with kids and everything, it's like, even if you don't like this job, like, hey, you gotta stick it out, because it's just like, you got kids to rely on, you got a house payment to rely on. It's just like, oh shit. Like,
I'm getting to that point. I feel that.
yeah. So it's
And
deep.
it's kind of scary, but
Mhm.
I feel like it's so important for us because we learn so much through this independence. I'm sure you've been learning a lot, you know, but I
Yeah.
feel like me gaining my independence and moving out and kind of just like not being alone, because I do have like people that are like family around me,
Mhm.
but like not having my parents or like actual family members is kind of scary to me, but it's taught me to be strong.
Mhm.
It's taught me it's just taught me a lot. It's helped me grow in so many ways, and
Yeah.
I'm really thankful. It sucks that it happened the way that it did, but at the same time, I'm like, thank God that I'm here and learning this shit out here with people who love me,
Mhm.
people who support me, and people that I enjoy being around. You know,
And everything happens for a reason, you know?
100, yes.
Yeah.
Talk to him, Noah. Talk to him.
Yeah, it's supposed to make you stronger, you know? What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Now, I remember last time I had you on, we talked about Taylor Swift and how you got into a little run-in with some of her
stands.
fans. Yeah, her stands on Twitter. Anything else like that interesting happened lately?
I'm here to tell you that low-key, maybe I'm a hypocrite, but I heard some of Taylor Swift's like songwriting songs that aren't pop, because I hate pop. I don't really like pop music, to be honest, but I heard some of her like guitar and like songwriting songs, and I was like, I want to make some stuff like this. So Taylor, you are off the hook. I love you, bitch.
Nice little update on that. Okay.
Not everything, but you know what? She's cool. We're all growing. We're all learning, doing our thing.
Okay.
I'm trying to learn not to be so judgmental or not to be so negative. Like, I want to learn to start doing things from a different perspective, and instead of being like, I don't like this person, I want to like try to understand, you know what, maybe I don't like their music, but that shouldn't like say that doesn't mean that they're not good at what they do. That doesn't mean that they haven't worked hard to get where they're at, you know? I'm just trying to learn to be more mindful of other people and their feelings. And
right. And you can learn something from everybody. And you may not love what they do, but it's like they're like, let's say it's their work ethic kind of deal. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember when like Russ was kind of coming up and before he got super big, you know, I think a lot of people like didn't really like his music, and I wasn't a fan of his music, but I liked that he was so consistent, and then he like just had like, now he has such a big catalog, you know, and it's like damn. Like,
he's a monster.
Yeah.
He just...
And so I really admire that. So even though I didn't love his music, it's like, oh, hey, but he's just like consistently grinding stuff out. He has different lanes. He can sing. He can also rap. Like, and then he's always putting out stuff. Like, no one's more consistent than he is, I would say, right now. So it's like, it's pretty cool. And everyone works differently, so you can't, you know, compare artist to artist like that. But still, it's you can pick something from everybody.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to learn too. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm gonna come on here on the record and say, I'm not, like, everyone knows this, but I'm not perfect. You know, I fuck up a lot. I have a lot of toxic traits. Like, I have a lot of things wrong with me that I need to learn how to deal with or I need to work on. But I think it's super cool that, you know, I don't even know why I brought that up. Low-key, I'm not faded. I haven't smoked yet today, but it's been a long few days.
Yeah.
Why was I talking about that?
I don't know. Not perfect.
I'm learning to be open and learning to be okay with being wrong and changing how I go about things. For example, like with the Taylor Swift thing, I'm learning how to take accountability and be like, you know what, maybe I did something, you know, but I can go back and be like, all right, I fucked up, sorry, my bad.
Yeah,
you know,
that's huge.
That's what I need. That's what I've been working on.
Yeah. And I think even cancel culture is so big, and I kind of wanted to bring this up because like we're talking also about Twitter. There have been instances where it's a like a professional athlete or like a celebrity, a musician, somebody like when they finally pop up and make it, someone will go back in their history, kind of dig up an old tweet that was either racist, homophobic, or just offensive to some group of people.
And to be honest with you, this sounds fucked up, but our generation we're kind of pussies.
Yeah.
Like, low-key, like, in 2005, when, like, Filthy Frank was a thing, and, shit, I was saying the most outrageous shit.
Yeah.
I was, like, just trying to be one of the bros. I was like, fuck those girls. I'm gonna bully. Like, I was just doing crazy shit. So I hate cancel culture because I'm like, that, like, kind of makes it hard for people to grow. And, it's, like, just you're being so hard on someone for making a mistake, and I get it. Like,
it's a young age.
Yeah, and I get it. They say offensive shit, but, like, what we've talked about this. I remember us talking about this.
Mm-hmm.
What kid hasn't said some dumb shit or made a mistake?
Yeah.
Even adults make mistakes. It's not new, so why are we gonna, like, torture them and just, like, fucking harass them for doing something that we all do? Like, at the end of the day, we're all hypocrites. Sorry to tell y'all, but we're all hypocrites. We all fuck up. We all say dumb shit. It is what it is. I'm very impulsive, so I make mistakes. I would hate for someone not to accept me because I made a mistake.
Right.
Especially when I'm open to changing.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing, too. If someone continuously makes mistakes and they're not open to changing and they just have that same repetitive behavior, then boom, that's a problem. And sure, maybe they should deserve to get canceled. But I feel like most people genuinely do want to change or learn different things and they're open to it. But you know, we forget, you know, like we grew up here, or at least I grew up here in Orange County. You grew up here in Southern California, a little bit different places, but still, like, we have our way of thinking, which is pretty common to, like, other people from California. But if we went, you know,
you're right.
From people from Missouri or, like, Kansas or Georgia, like, you know, they're gonna have a different view of life. And, you know, like, some things that we see as normal here, they're gonna be like, what the fuck? Like, that's super, like, weird, you know? And they're maybe not willing to change their ideas on certain things and others because they were taught that was right for so long from their parents, you know.
And there's nothing wrong with that, you know. I have no problem with that, but it is true. Like, a lot of people, I forget that we are very, like, in our own spot, in our own place, because sometimes people will come from here, like, from out of state, and they'll be like, you're so LA. And I'm like, what does that mean? I wasn't even born in LA. Like, what? They're like, you could just tell, like, the way you're dressed, like, you're so LA. Like, I'm like, okay. Or, like, you have an accent. And I'm like, I have an accent? What do you mean? I'm not talking like this. This is an accent. What are you talking about?
Yeah. I think that's funny when people will say, well, yeah. I mean, but that's the thing. Like, accents are just to behold.
I never hear it.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish that I could, but.
That's funny, though, the LA thing. I just think people in general. But maybe that is maybe it's like a California thing. I think sometimes people think California is just like LA and San Francisco. I'm like, that's it, you know?
Yeah. They're like, so you're from LA, right? I'm like, there's a lot of places out here, dude. Like, a lot.
Yeah. And kind of similar, but not very different, too.
You know, everywhere has, like, I feel like I love Santa Ana because, like, I know everyone there and everyone's very, like, 4th Street, very, like, community. And then other places are very, like, I have to be very, like, careful, and I'm like, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Just depends on the place, the people.
Now you mentioned 4th Street. Now that things are opening up, do you guys have whether it's with your group or just you as yourself, do you have any performances coming up?
I do not have performance. I'm working on learning how to be a better performer, actually, and vocal control. So I probably won't be doing shows for a little bit. Like, hopefully, if I get the opportunity, I would love to take it. But I really, really want to get better at performing like Papes. I take a lot of inspiration from Papes and other people on the team because I see that they all have their own, like, skills. Papes is so good at performing. He's so good at talking to the people, getting them engaged. And then when I perform, I feel a little bit, like, awkward. Like, I feel weird in front of a camera. I'm like, how do I move? Like, how do I talk? Like, what do I say? I'm always like, hey, guys, Dev here. Like, listen to my new song. Like, I don't know what to say. So I just want to make sure I'm well-rounded before I put myself out there.
Yeah. Practice makes perfect, too. I think it'll be cool as things open up, maybe, like, open mics open up and stuff like the Cool Lab and other projects like that. Yeah, there's a cool community, you know, and hopefully things are opening up fast, so hopefully within the summer we can get something like that back.
We need to get out there.
Yeah.
Well, I'll put you on a show. You want to sing with me?
Yeah.
I'll let you rap.
Okay.
I'll, like, write you some bars, and then you could just go, I'm Noah. I don't fuck with the... I don't know. Never mind. Forget it.
Something like that. I feel like Noah, there's not a lot that rhymes with the name, but you could... Something different, yeah.
Noah. I'm about to grab the mower and go over this lawn because y'all are some lame ass hoas.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what the fuck I'm saying right now.
Yeah, I like it.
I'm trying. I'll write you something. That'd be easier. I'm not good at freestyling.
No, you're good. We got plenty of time to work on it still.
Yeah, true.
All right. Are there any more goals for you outside of music and outside of your career that you'd like to accomplish this year?
Some goals. I need to start thinking about stuff like this, but I really don't. I just kind of live life. I think, like I said, a very big goal of mine right now is just to learn how to love myself in a healthy way. And also to kind of like rewire my brain. I feel like because I've been through so much trauma and just so much has been going on, and everyone goes through it. I'm learning like I'm not special, like everyone goes through shit. So I'm learning to cope. I'm learning to rewire my brain. I'm learning to be more positive. I'm learning to talk to myself more positive. I'm learning to just appreciate the good things rather than being so focused on like the small bad things. It's a big thing for me right now.
Okay. Well, props to you for being able to work on that stuff.
Thank you.
I wish you nothing but the best in that journey. Now, before we end the show, I do like to ask these fun, interactive questions.
Oh, yes.
So, I don't remember if I asked you this previously, so I have some other questions in line, though, for you. But go-to topping on a pizza?
Pineapple on pizza.
Pineapple?
Pineapple on pizza, always.
There's pineapple, though?
It could have pepperoni or ham, but, like, there has to be some pineapple on there.
You like pineapple, okay.
Do you like pineapple pizza?
I don't. Well, I don't.
Noah!
I don't judge.
You're
Don't
killing
judge.
me.
I won't judge you here.
Fine. No judging. No judging.
If you can have, you're hosting a dinner guest. You're hosting a dinner. You have 5 guests, dead or alive. Who would you want to have at your table?
Well, okay. I would want, first of all, Earl Sweatshirt better be there. Earl. I want Tyler. I need some bad bitches, so I'm gonna need some like Rihanna. I'm gonna need some Ariana Grande.
Okay.
And last but not least, I'll have to say I want Steven to be there, just because I love Steven.
All right, dope. Oh yeah. If you could be reincarnated to any animal, what would it be?
You asked me this last time, and I'm gonna stick with a penguin.
Okay.
I just love penguins. Are my favorite animals.
Penguin.
They're just so cute and cuddly. They look cuddly. I don't know if they actually are, but I would cuddle a penguin.
All right. What's one area of yourself that you'd like to see yourself growing?
Mentally. I want to get stronger mentally.
Okay. All right. Would you rather skydive or bungee jump?
Both.
Okay.
I would rather go skydiving. Wow, bungee. Wait, I don't think that's a thing.
I don't think that's a thing.
I don't think that's a thing. You could like plug it up to the plane, and then I'll jump off the plane.
But then I feel like
once I get to the bottom, I'll let go of it, and then I'll pop the little parachute, and then I'll just fly down the rest of the way. That's pretty sick.
I'm sure there's a way you could find. I just feel like physics-wise, that's pretty hard. Because if you have too much force on that bungee cord, you might take down the plane. I don't know though.
I would say I don't think that's a thing.
No,
to be honest,
all right.
I don't think you weigh enough.
True,
to
maybe.
do that. A plane is a big ass.
But it's
thing.
like, the cord is like it's all built off momentum. So like you go like if you fully extend the cord, like that's gonna like cause some sort of snap, and it's a big cord.
We can work out the details.
Yeah,
it's
you're
alright. It's alright. We can work these out.
This is all
Come
hypothetically.
on, let's think of solutions, not problems.
Mhm.
Alright. So,
If you could be doing anything other than making music, what would it be?
I would just be dead low key.
Yeah.
There's nothing else. This is it. Music, this is it.
Okay.
If I'm not doing music, I don't want to be doing anything else.
Okay. All right. Right on. And then, if you were stranded on an island, but food and water provided, what are 3 things you'd like to pass the time?
I need someone to be there with me.
Okay.
I need to have a friend. I need weed.
Okay.
I'm gonna need some like weed products, you know.
Yeah, you can package that stuff in the wraps.
Okay, and then third, I don't even know. Maybe like makeup.
Okay.
I like makeup. It's fun to pass the time, you know.
Play around with it a little bit. Yeah.
I'll be going crazy. I'll be drawing like fucking faces on coconuts and shit with my makeup.
Hell yeah.
Gluing eyelashes onto them. What do you think, Catherine?
Just a coconut. Like, oh yeah.
She has like a little wig.
You start making little voices.
I think that was wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. It's nice to have someone on my side.
And then last question: if you could give any advice to yourself, what would it be?
To like my old self?
Yeah.
I would say take care of yourself. Really, I've spent a lot of my life worrying about making people happy. I'm very big on, like, I really want to make people happy. I really want to make people feel good. But I would really have loved it if I would have spent more time on myself.
Damn.
You know, and like really put that energy into me and like making sure that I'm good.
Yeah.
You know, because it's better sooner than later. And at this point, it's like later, and I'm like, shit, how do I deal with all of this? What the fuck? No one taught me this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of scary. A little daunting, for sure. Props to you, though.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me on again.
Of course.
Y'all, this is my Mike and I with Noah and Dev.
Hey.
And you know what? We're going to make today our bitch. Every single day. I hope you guys make today your bitch.
Uh-huh.
And I love y'all.
Before you go, tell the people where they can find your music, visuals, all that kind of good stuff.
You guys can find me on mostly Instagram. I use Instagram a lot, which is @_DEVAROUX_. And then if you want to find me on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever, you can just look me up, Devaroux, DEVAROUX. And all my stuff is there. Even YouTube. Check me out.
Awesome. Check her out. Thank you again for being on the show.
Thank you.
Always
I love
a pleasure.
being here.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. See ya.